What is up, guys? Pastor Matheny here. Thank you for joining me today in my study. In my last video, we talked a little bit about what is Martin Luther's Small Catechism. I told you what it is as a book and gave you a brief explanation of it and its background. But I think there's another question that follows quickly on what is Luther's Small Catechism, and that is perhaps a more pressing or important question. That question, I would say, is not what is Martin Luther's Small Catechism, but, Pastor, why should I care about Martin Luther's Small Catechism? I mean, after all, it is a book that's almost 500 years old. What could I possibly learn from it? Why would I spend my time and my energy and my effort in learning it and studying it and maybe even memorizing it? I'd say that's a very good question, and today I've got 4 reasons for you why you should care about Martin Luther's Small Catechism. The first reason why you should care about Luther's Small Catechism is because it is true. This book does a fantastic job of presenting to us what the Bible says about what God has done for us. It touches on many of the most important aspects of our Christian faith and explains and offers them to us. So, we should bother learning and studying Martin Luther's Small Catechism because it presents to us the truth of the Scriptures. Secondly, you should care about Martin Luther's Small Catechism because it is simple. Now, we talked last time about how thick some of the editions of Luther's Small Catechism are, but, of course, the catechism itself is quite small. Again, one of the greatest things that Martin Luther accomplished when he wrote this small catechism is taking the most important parts of the Christian faith and conveying them in words that are simple and brief. He doesn't teach you everything that you need to know about any of the things that he writes about in the small catechism, but he treats each one of them simply in a way that is approachable and understandable by almost everyone. The third reason why you should care about Martin Luther's Small Catechism is because it is common. If you talk to many people who are Lutheran Christians, people in your family, your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, if you were to take a poll of the people at your congregation, and if you would ask Lutherans across the country and across the world, many of them, in fact, most of them, and I would say actually nearly all of them, will at least be aware of Martin Luther's Small Catechism. Most of them will have learned this book. Most of them will have read this book. And by and large, most of them will have a copy of this book in one form or another sitting on their bookshelves. Now, it may have been far too long since they actually read it, but they will be familiar with it. And even more so, many of the words and the phrases and the way that Martin Luther talks about things in this great little book will be familiar to most people. There's all kinds of phrases like, what does this mean? And this is most certainly true. Phrases like that Martin Luther uses in his Small Catechism that will be familiar to many or most Lutherans, some of them so familiar and common that they will use them as a form of a joke. And finally, the fourth reason why you should care about Martin Luther's Small Catechism is because it is foundational. Now again, as I said before, it is a very simple book. It is a very short and brief book. But what it does is it touches on all the most important parts of the Christian faith, and Martin Luther treats each one of them very well. So it doesn't tell you all you might want to know about any part of the Christian faith, but it serves as a fantastic starting point for just about anything. So you want to know what God would have for his world and his creation? Do you want to know what he expects of you as his creature? There is not a better place I can think of than to start thinking about this question with Martin Luther's explanation of the Ten Commandments. You want to know who God is and what God has done? I can't think of a better place to start than Martin Luther's explanation of the Apostles' Creed. Do you have questions or curiosities about baptism or the Lord's Supper? If so, you won't learn everything about them, but I can think of no better place to begin than in Martin Luther's explanation of them in his small catechism. So, by way of recap, the 4 reasons why you should care about Martin Luther's small catechism are thus. Firstly, it's true. It presents to us the truths of what the scriptures say about all sorts of things regarding Christianity. Secondly, it's simple. It talks about these very important things briefly, concisely, and in plain language that is understandable by almost anyone. Thirdly, it is common. You probably have a copy of it in your own home. If not, there are many of them at your congregation, and it is going to be a thing that is familiar to many or most of the Lutherans that you meet. And finally, fourthly, it is foundational. It treats some of the most important pieces of Christianity, not in exhaustive or complete ways, but in ways that serve as a fantastic starting point. This is a wonderful book that is worth your time and attention and study because it will serve you as an excellent foundation to your continued life and study of the Christian faith for years and years to come. So, thank you for joining me today in my study. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions or comments for me, feel free, please, to post them in the comment section down below. Send me an email, give me a phone call, get in touch with me any way you like. Thank you for joining me for today's video, and until I see you in the next one, peace.